Please keep checking out the links down in the description. I'm going to say it at the beginning of every single video now until we have all this stuff solved, so probably forever. Be checking out those links down in the description. Anything you can do to help is going to be appreciated and is a step in the right direction of activism. Keep doing whatever you can, keep learning, keep donating, keep spreading news. Anything we can do to help is going to be appreciated, and it's the very least we can do. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. I want to preface this by saying this video was supposed to come out months ago. It probably should have come out last year, but at the very least, this video was supposed to come out months ago. But filming YouTube videos and doing like full costuming and wardrobing for TikTok while working full-time and just being an adult is very hard. So today we're going to be talking about Carys, and I'm so excited because this is something I'm so like passionate and happy about. So let's get into it. So Carys is a character that I created on TikTok. I've made a couple videos about TikTok. I'll put them in the cards off to the side. I've made a couple videos about TikTok, but she is a character that I do on TikTok because I am on like cosplay art side of TikTok. I follow a lot of cool cosplay creators. One of those videos that I will put in the cards, you know, kind of shows you that I'm very into it. She's a character I created in 2019, the end of 2019, because there was something came up on my For You page or somebody I followed. I don't remember if I followed them first or it came up first, but something came up where somebody had created a tag and it was the World of Fae tag. I thought that was super neat and fun. And I've always kind of wanted to like dabble in cosplaying, but I was always like, other things kind of caught my interest first, or I was like kind of unsure about how to go about it, so I just have never done it. So the World of Fae tag was my first time getting into cosplay, and the original version of Carys, who I still plan on cosplaying in the future, she's still gonna, you know, when I have audios for her, I will be, you know, doing her, but the original version of Carys was, you know, when I do like my makeup for certain videos and it's the like bright pink brows and I do the lipstick and sometimes I have a little heart sticker, that was her original design, because the concept of Carys as a character is just essentially me, but as a fairy. So she has like a specific kind of costume design, a specific color scheme, and that's how she started. And that was like, you know, she did the full face of makeup. I would often, you know, over the last year or 2 years, I would film a video here and then I would make Carys videos because my makeup would already be all done, because it is a full face of makeup for me. So it is a lot to get into just to film like 2 or 3 TikToks. Anyway, that was her original design. And, you know, I kind of do her on and off. It's not like a constant thing. It's whenever I have audios. But then last summer, was it June? It was either May, June, or July. I don't remember exactly when I started, but I know I started making videos in like June, July. Somebody on TikTok, and I think this was before or after I started reading the Percy Jackson books, I couldn't tell you. Also, I haven't finished the books yet, which when I tell you the rest of this video, you're going to be absolutely ludicrous about. But anyway, it was before or after I started reading the Percy Jackson books, somebody made a Percy Jackson tag, and I was so excited to jump in on it. The tag is called Campers of Camp Half-Blood. It's still up and running. People still put videos in it. I have been putting a lot of videos into it lately. And I thought it was really cool and like really exciting. And I was like, oh, I'm getting into Percy Jackson. I really want to be part of this. So I recycled Carys. And that is kind of what I want to talk about today, because me recycling Carys into the Percy Jackson tag has led to this whole storytelling experience that I am so incredibly proud of. And on TikTok, as this video goes up, it'll be over. Camp Half-Blood Carys is over and done with. Her story has been told, so I really want to talk about her story because I'm really proud of it, and I'm really proud of how it's stretched on since last summer and like what direction I went with. So let me talk about her. So the Camp Half-Blood version of Carys, I'm going to be putting pictures up as we're going. I'm sure you've seen them by now. The magic of editing. Camp Half-Blood Carys was just me being too lazy kind of to like create a whole new character and all new backstories and everything, because Faye Carys kind of has a backstory, but not really. She's just a fun character that I just have fun with. There's no like tragic backstory or just any backstory really. Like I don't have her family fleshed out or anything like that. She's just like there to have fun. But Camp Half-Blood Carys was also going to be that. She was just a fun character. It was just for me to goof around, interact with other creators, and just have like a good time. So originally that's what she was. And her original design, like her costume design and everything, was the same makeup I wear for original Carys, in a messy braid, because I was like, oh, like camping, you know, like camp counselors and all that stuff. And I wore, oh, it's in my Halloween video. I wear the whole outfit in the Halloween video. She is just like my pajama shorts and that yellow shirt I have that says I came, I saw, made it awkward with the emoji, because I don't have a Camp Half-Blood shirt and I cannot find a Camp Half-Blood shirt that is plus size, even though I've looked on Etsy, so bummer. But that was her original design, because I was like, ah, whatever. She's just like a fun, she's just like a fun comedy character. I just, you know, make goofy audios, interact with people, we have a good time. So that's what it was. The most in-depth we had about her personality and like who she was as a character was that she's the Cabin 10 head, which if you don't know, that is the Aphrodite cabin. The Cabin 10 head, she is a daughter of Aphrodite. Well, what a shocker, because I was still wearing the little heart on my cheek too. Cabin 10 head, oh my god, I said that 3 times, and like the thrower of parties. I like decided that for this tag, she was the person that threw the parties. Also, I want to say, the Campers of Camp Half-Blood tag was the person who made it. I don't remember exactly who it was. If I can remember, I'm going to put their little @ here. The person who made the tag, the whole concept, their whole original concept was, while Percy Jackson, like the events of the Percy Jackson books are happening, what's happening at Camp Half-Blood, which I always loved, because I find the parts of Camp Half-Blood that are in the books, the first 3 books that I have read of the original Percy Jackson series, so cool, and I really wish we got more about camp. I don't know if that's going to happen in the last 2 books and is it the Heroes of Olympus? Is that the second series? Yes, it is. The Heroes of Olympus books. I don't know if there's more about Camp Half-Blood, but I think Camp Half-Blood is really, really cool, so I was very excited to jump in on this tag. I decided, I'd made the choice for everybody in this tag, I guess, that I was, like, Carys at Camp Half-Blood was the one that, like, threw all the parties. If there was a party, it was happening at Cabin 10, and I was the one who was throwing it, which some people interacted with in that, like, way, and some people didn't. That's totally fine. Nobody's obligated to interact a specific way with you on TikTok. Just putting it out there. That was as in-depth as Carys was gonna go, and a lot of other people started like fleshing out their characters and like making backstories for them. And I was always like, whatever. I added that Carys has like a great relationship with her dad, like the same level of like relationship that my mom and I have. I added that she has a great relationship with her dad, and she is one of the campers that stays all year round, because a lot of other people were doing that too. I decided that she was the camper that stays all year round and she does not go home for the summers. But that was it. I didn't really have anything for her. But between other people doing it and me being like, that sounds kind of cool, I kind of want to do that, and different audios popping up on my For You page on TikTok and me being like, oh, that's a really cool song, ooh, I kind of have an idea for that, I decided to create a whole tragic backstory for Carys, and then off of that tragic backstory, eventually a whole journey that she has gone on. And like I said, the day that this video is going up has now ended. The way TikTok works, in my opinion, I don't really know if it works for everybody else in this way. I don't know if it's the same thought process, but my thought process and the way TikTok works for me to make storytelling type of videos is TikTok is very heavily influenced by audios. I find TikTok a very interesting form of media to tell stories in. It's not quite like movies, it's not quite like music videos, and it's definitely not like writing. It's definitely not like writing. So it's like an interesting and kind of difficult learning curve when you want things a certain way in a storytelling aspect. And I find it fascinating, and the reason I'm making this video is because I want to explain things that if you watch those TikTok videos and you have been following Carys' story, you may not have like picked, like tiny details are very hard to get across on TikTok, in my opinion, the way I'm doing the storytelling. Again, Carys started as just like a fun character, like a little goofy character, just interacting with people, having fun. So what I decided is, like I said, Carys does not go home over the summer. She stays at Camp Half-Blood. And I decided that she's an older demigod, because I know in the books Percy Jackson starts, does he start when he's like 12? I think he starts when he's like 12. I decided that she's an older one. At the time of the Camp Half-Blood tag, like when it starts, I've decided that Carys is 19. And she has been at Camp Half-Blood for 2 years. She's an older member, she is the cabin head, and the reason why she is an older member and is at Camp Half-Blood and does not go home over the summers to visit her dad is because, and again, this is a situation where her backstory was influenced by audios on TikTok. Like, I wanted to give her a backstory because other people were doing it, and I was like, that would actually be really cool to flesh out a character. The reason why she has this kind of story is because one specific audio, like, heavily influenced it. So, the way Carys's story starts, when Carys was a young girl going to school, she flew under the radar kind of as a demigod, because I decided that in the Percy Jackson universe, because Aphrodite is one of like the lesser gods, she's not one of the big three, which is a huge focus point on the Percy Jackson books, because she is one of the lesser ones in that universe, Carys was kind of able to like go under the radar really easy. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. And when she was in school, going to like school with human kids, she met a boy. And I wanted to incorporate my necklace because I wear my necklace in everything. It does not matter the cosplay. I do not take this necklace off literally ever except a shower because I don't want the metal to rust. I decided that the boy that she, you know, met in school and everything was her first boyfriend and her first love, and he gave her this necklace. And they were very much in love because, you know, they're teens and everything's kind of like hunky-dory and it's a fictional world, so everything's perfect. But one day, specifically when she was 17, because of an audio on TikTok, one day when she was 17, the monsters found her. And there was, you know, a fight, and whether the mist or whatever, I didn't work out the fine details, but her boyfriend gets hurt. And hurt enough that he kind of bleeds out and dies in her arms? Which is very dramatic, but it makes sense going forward. Yeah, it's very dramatic. Her first love dies in her arms, and that is the moment that Aphrodite decides to claim her. Like, literally, as her first love is dying and bleeding out and being like, I love you, you know, remember me, all that nonsense, Aphrodite's like, ah, hello, you are my child. It's horribly traumatizing, but she survives it. She gets taken to Camp Half-Blood in whatever way. Again, I didn't really iron out the fine details of that. She gets taken to Camp Half-Blood, and the reason why she doesn't go home over the summers is because she's traumatized and afraid that her dad is going to be hurt the same way her boyfriend was. Another really cool thing about this tag and being on TikTok is you can make a lot of stories that are collaborative. And there were a lot of people that joined the Campers of Camp Half-Blood tag. I keep wanting to call you guys kids if you're watching this, because you guys are younger than me and you are all mostly teenagers, so you are kids. And yes, I do get consent to work with those kids. We have very like specific things that we do. And I do have like strict kind of following like duet things on my TikTok that I do follow through with unless specifically asked permission and we have a discussion on what we're planning on, like videos we're making. I do not duet with teenagers, and we're not like, again, if you guys are watching this, not to be mean, but we're not friends because you guys are much younger than me. But I do like interacting with you in the storytelling aspect. Anyway, a lot of people that I interacted with and did other videos with were also people that had their characters be children of Aphrodite. So it was kind of cool because Cabin 10 ended up having like a sibling group that interacted with each other a fair amount. You know, personalities clashed and everything, but we all kind of interacted with each other. We all kind of had like similar things that we would do. So all of our characters were kind of friends. And Carys at Camp Half-Blood now, instead of just being like a one-dimensional character, because her first love died in her arms and she's like traumatized and scared to get her dad hurt, she spends her time at Camp Half-Blood throwing parties and being like very ridiculous and over the top because she is trying to kind of ignore that trauma. In the design for Carys beforehand, she's in white with like, and it's just a shirt with like little flowers on it because I really wanted to capture that like young innocence. And I think white was the way to go. I like kind of tried to do color theory and like color representation. It didn't really go through. I kind of only did it for like specific parts of her story, but she's in white with flowers on it because she's very young, and she does have glitter and she does have pink brows, but it's like these pink brows. Like it's a lot lighter because she is still the child of Aphrodite, and that influence is still there, and being the child of Aphrodite heavily influences her life, but it's not like a fully recognized thing. So Carys is the way she is at Camp Half-Blood because she just doesn't want to deal with that trauma. Like, she's like, fuck, I'm a fucking demigod. My mom's the goddess of love. My love just died. Like, I can't deal with this. So then that's Carys. And again, because I recycled her older design but different costuming, she has that full face of makeup, and that the full face of makeup like represents her like being the daughter of Aphrodite, and like this very stereotypical, like, I guess, look you would think of for being the daughter of Aphrodite. And like I said, because there were other people that were children of Aphrodite that chose to make their characters that way, there was a specific creator who made a character. I believe their name was Allie. Their character's name was Allie. Had a very specific character. And I believe, from what from what videos and stuff they make now, I believe that at the time that was kind of like their first instance of getting into like original characters in cosplay. So they had like a lot of original characters at the time, and Allie was only one of them. And at some point over the summer, I'm assuming they just had, like too much to kind of juggle and wanted to make a lot of different types of content, but couldn't really like do it all at once. A very specific creator that I interacted with as my character decided to kill off their Campers of Camp Half-Blood character, which is fine. That's their choice, whatever. But I kind of used that in my story. So that creator killed off their character Allie, and Allie was a sister to Carys. They weren't incredibly close, but that was her sister. So between Carys losing her first love, Carys losing a sibling, and I have this whole thing with Carys too as the daughter of Aphrodite, that Aphrodite never contacts Carys at all. Similar to the Percy Jackson books, where the gods don't really contact their children, there are still instances where there's some kind of something. Not, one-on-one conversation, but something. Carys has absolutely nothing. So then later on, I kept kind of making Carys videos. I kind of went into her backstory a little bit. I made a couple videos just explaining her backstory, but then I kind of ran out of audios. I wasn't like super inspired to keep filming Carys. Other things came up. But then another person that I interacted with, who was also a sibling of Carys, made a video, and it was like, hey, Cabin 10 chain, we're gonna sneak out and go to a club in New York. And I was like, that's super funny. I'm gonna duet that at some point. And when I did decide to duet it, I decided to duet it with the beginning of Carys's character arc, essentially, where I'm really fleshing out her character. So the club video, I duetted that, and it's Cabin 10 sneaking out and going to a club because, of course we'd be the troublemakers. And I decided, again, I have not finished the last 2 books in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I don't know how much of this is like aligning with the books or what. I have been spoiled for some things, like I know about the Luke and Selena situation, but I don't know much else after the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series. So please don't spoil anything for me, and if I'm like completely spot on with anything, please don't tell me until I've read the other 2 books. I'll make a second video when I finish the other Percy Jackson books. Carys' story arc starts with the Cabin 10 sneaking out, going to the club, and when she's at the club, she gets approached by somebody, a stranger. And he's kind of smooth, and he's kind of charming, and she kind of is like, because mind you, her boyfriend's been dead for 2 years, and she's only human, she's only demigod, but she's only human, and she's attracted to people. This guy approaches her, and he's very smooth and charming, and she kind of likes him, so she kind of starts sneaking out of camp to see him because they hit it off at the club, and she decides that, yeah, I'm interested enough that I'm going to continue this. So she starts sneaking out of camp to go see him. And I'm not going to say his last name right, so I'm not even going to try right now. But the character I decided that she sneaks out and sees is Luke. Okay? So I decided it's Luke because I had this whole brilliant idea. I decided it's Luke. Her siblings at one point kind of catch on that it's Luke. And again, the creator who made the Campers of Camp Half-Blood tag, their idea of it was while the Percy Jackson series is happening, what's happening back at Camp Half-Blood. But I've decided for my character that this is more of a kind of like AU. So does Percy Jackson in this exist in my universe of this? I don't really know because of the way things end, but Camp Half-Blood's a thing, so there you go. Carys meets Luke, and in the instances of her sneaking out and like going to see him and everything because she's into him, she thinks she's like, you know, dating him and everything. They have a couple conversations where he really empathizes with her. He admits to her that he's a demigod at this point. I guess in like the legitimate Percy Jackson universe, he would have already kind of left Camp Half-Blood. But, you know, they bond over, you know, being demigods and going through trauma, because I kind of kept Luke's backstory similar in this. They have shared trauma, and he really empathizes with her because, in my mind, the way things are happening at Camp Half-Blood, when Allie dies, obviously people react, but nothing really ever came of it. No other creators kind of like touched on it, and I never touched on it, just because that person who made Allie and killed Allie just didn't really say anything about it either. There was no like big reaction. But I decided that for Carys' story, the fact that there was no big reaction is like horrible to her. It is absolutely traumatizing, and Luke empathizes with that and is like, listen, that's messed up. Like two people that you care about died because of the fact that you're a demigod and like they're also a demigod, and your godly parent can't reach out to you and tell you literally anything. That's messed up. I feel that, like, these are my experiences. This is my idea. And instead of being a spy like Selena is in the books, Carys just straight up joins him and decides that that is the choice that she wants to make, because the way he says it is very kind of manipulative. It's not like we're gonna fight the gods. It's more of, this is like, he makes his plan sound very diplomatic and not like we're gonna go to war and we're gonna take over and we're gonna do better. He makes it sound very diplomatic, and she decides that that is what she wants to do. So then she has a costume change where all of the makeup gets taken off, because I was like, ooh, that's kind of fitting, because the makeup stereotypically would represent, you know, Aphrodite, and especially the version of Aphrodite in the Percy Jackson books. I've only seen her once or twice, but I'm not a big fan of her in the books. But I completely took all of her makeup off and I put her in purple, because at the time that I was doing that part of the story in real life, I was watching one of my favorite Zelda theory videos over and over and over again, because one of my special interests is The Legend of Zelda. And the guy who makes that video touches on that in Japan, purple is the color of villains. And that kind of always stuck out to me, because like color theory and color representation is really cool to me. So I dressed Carys in purple. She has a purple shirt and she has a little purple jacket. And that's to show that she is part of the villains of, you know, Percy Jackson. So she's in purple, and I have a couple videos where it's kind of like her having a conversation with her siblings and being like, why don't you understand? Like, you're not gonna react to Allie dying either. Like, what's happening? Why won't you react? And Luke in the sidelines is very much being like, yeah, why won't you react? Like, come on, Carys, like, I'll make you feel better. Like, we'll do something about it. And have you seen any of those videos where there's like, they use their hand and it's like supposed to be somebody else's hand? I did so many videos of Luke and Carys like that, and Luke's hand is always, I bought these rings to cover up my tattoos because I wanted it to look like somebody else's hand, and I have so many videos of Luke like reaching into like frame and like holding her face. It's great. Over the course of Carys being on Luke's side, they have a relationship. They're not like, she's not a spy. He's not like pretending to like her. Like, they have a legitimate relationship. They start dating. But the version of Luke I created in my head, because like I said, it's like an alternate universe of Percy Jackson. It's an AU. Instead of Kronos being in Luke's head and kind of like calling the shots and being like his subconscious, I decided that this version of Luke gets pushed back and Kronos takes over. So Kronos is running Luke's body and making decisions. And when he's saying things to Carys and like manipulating her, it's Kronos. It's not Luke. Because we know Luke just wanted certain things. He didn't want it to end the way it did. So yeah, it's Kronos, it's not Luke, and Luke is the subconscious. Luke is in the back piping up every once in a while, but he's not the one running the show. So it turns into Luke starts acting weird. That was like the kind of turning point in her story. Luke starts acting weird because it's Kronos taking over and Luke is getting pushed back and he's coming forward. And Carys is trying to kind of be like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you're acting different. At one point, gives her a ring, whether it's Kronos or Luke specifically. Who knows? But Carys is given a ring, and it's a very, like, solidifying thing of, like, you're part of my side of this fight. But yeah, Luke starts acting really weird, and Carys kind of is trying to, like, hey, like, you're my boyfriend, I care about you, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Like, you're acting weird, like, you're getting a little aggressive, what's going on? And I filmed a specific video where he kind of, like, she's kind of being like, whoa, hey, back up, and she gets grabbed by, like, the wrist. And what that turns into is Kronos using Luke's body, so as far as Carys knows, it's Luke doing it. It turns into an abusive relationship. He hits her, like once or twice. It's not like a super reoccurring thing, but it does get physical. He hits her a couple times, so then I started doing, like, blood on my lip. And there's a lot of instances where he, like, grabs her, and it was supposed to be mainly by the face, like this, but then I don't know how to do that stuff professionally. So just the way my hand goes, a lot, like, his fingers were on her throat. So I have a face paint kit that I started doing, like, purple on my fingers and then recreating it so it looks like she kind of has, like, bruising on her throat. And that is what that relationship turns into. And as far as Carys knows, it's Luke doing it, but it's actually Kronos, but you know. And it turns into an abusive relationship. So now Carys has these certain ideas, she has all this other trauma, and now she thought she is in a situation where the one person that she thought understood and empathized with her is hurting her. And she doesn't know what to do about that. So that's kind of the story. I did a lot of videos like that, and she kind of, like, she definitely has instances of where she's missing home quite a lot, and home for her is Camp Half-Blood. She misses home. And then I kind of did the final battle. What is the last book called? Is it the Battle of Olympus? I think it's the Battle of Olympus. Again, I haven't read that book yet. I have not read the last book in the series, so don't spoil anything. And it was very anticlimactic, but I didn't really know how to go about it a more extreme way. But anyway, it comes to the last battle where Carys really tries to talk him out of it. Try to be like, Luke, come on, like, because again, I said that when he first starts kind of, like, recruiting Carys and everything, he makes it sound a lot more diplomatic than obviously the outcome is. So when it's to the point of we're going to go into a battle, like, it's going to be a gruesome battle, it's going to be sucky, you have a sword now, because Carys' old weapon at Camp Half-Blood was a bat, just because I didn't really know what other weapon to give her, and I have a bat in my house, and then I bought a fake sword because I wanted to use it for this. She has a sword, and he's like, you're going to have to end up hurting people. You're going to have to fight. If you kill somebody from Camp Half-Blood, you kill somebody from Camp Half-Blood. That doesn't matter. This is our end goal. And Carys is very not comfortable with that at all. She never wanted to hurt anybody. She just wanted to be heard and recognized, and for somebody to address, specifically Aphrodite, she wanted somebody to address the problems that have been caused. So going into the final battle, Carys is very, like, unwilling to do it. And there's another instance of him kind of, like, grabbing her. And then going into the final battle, she obviously sees people that she knows and cared about and were friends with. So I have a couple videos where she's fighting people, but, like, easily backing down. And then I have another video that I was really proud of for the editing wise, where she easily gets cornered. Like, her sword gets tossed out of her hand. She gets pinned. She resorts to, like, trying to fist fight somebody, and it just doesn't work. And again, this is where the small details kind of get lost, because I don't want to make too many videos and make it kind of drag out, because the more you drag it out, the less, like, interest there is for some, like, types of videos. But there's not really a way to do it without sitting down and explaining it. So when Carys loses her sword, you know, she's not actively fighting people, especially people from Camp Half-Blood that she recognizes. She kind of gets pulled aside because somebody recognizes her. This is the story I had in mind. She gets pulled aside because somebody recognizes her, and they're like, what are you doing here? Why are you fighting us? And it's like, it's the stress of battle, it's the adrenaline and everything, and she just breaks and just, like, sits there and tells whoever this was about everything that's been happening, and they have that whole conversation of like, that's not love, that's abuse, about, you know, her relationship with Luke. And she gets her bat back. And she's like, holy shit, this isn't right. Like, this is not the side I want to be on. So that happens. Carys recognizes that it is abuse. You know, whatever happens, the battle. And at one point, Carys is able to kind of face off against Luke / Kronos. And that's a video I'm really proud of as well. She kind of has a face-off with him, and she basically says, like, you can't manipulate me anymore, and you can't hurt me anymore, because I will not let you. She takes off the ring that he gave her and, like, throws it, because she will not be putting up with it anymore. And then I decided, because I wanted to use a very specific audio, I decided that how this battle ends and how everything is resolved, Carys is not the one who deals the final blow. Luke has a moment of him breaking out and breaking forward in the influence of Kronos. He comes forward, Kronos gets pushed back, and he decides to unalive himself, because drama. He unalives himself, and then, of course, because Carys did love him at one point and still cares about him and still loves him, rushes forward to catch him, and he dies in her arms, like reaching up and touching her face with a bloody hand, just like her first love did, because I was like, ooh, full circle, that's super fun and spicy. Oops. So that happens, and after that, because Carys kind of got pulled aside, and she didn't, like, actively... She was part of the Titan army. She did join, she did kind of take up with Luke. She was considered kind of like, I guess, Luke's second in command, but not like that serious. She was very much part of it, and that still is like bad. That's still not good. But because she was she didn't act strongly in battle. She didn't actively hurt anybody in the battle. She's brought back to Camp Half-Blood by, you know, whoever, by Chiron, by her siblings, by whoever. Somebody brings her back to Camp Half-Blood. And that is where the last couple videos, if you're on TikTok, have been. And that's what's led us to here. It is the end of Carys' story. She goes back to camp. She's no longer Captain Head, because obviously. She's no longer Captain Head, and she's back at Camp Half-Blood, and she's really not sure how she fits in anymore. Like, she's a war criminal. I made a goofy video saying, like, everybody thinks I'm just a bubbly little girl boss, but I'm not. I'm actually a war criminal and a corporate sellout, and that audio makes me laugh so hard. But she is a war criminal. And again, even though she didn't actively hurt somebody with her own hands, she was still part of something that was hurting Camp Half-Blood and causing problems. So she doesn't know what she's doing there, really. She's not comfortable anymore. She is not the same person she was. And her costuming for that is she's back in the outfit for Camp Half-Blood, but she has her purple jacket still, because that is like her memory of a time that she had that at one point was good for her and she felt comfortable in. She wears the ring that Luke gave her on her necklace because she found it afterwards, because she still loved him. Like I said, at some point she still loved him. She has the ring on her necklace, and I used to wear like big pink sunglasses for her too, because I was like, oh, that's cute, and they're shaped like hearts. It's very on brand. She wears the sunglasses again, but she does not have full face of makeup. It's not the full face of makeup that she had originally, and it's not the completely bare face she has as a member of the Titan Army, but I did put like glitter. The reason I mainly put glitter too is because the day I filmed was so fucking hot. All these last couple Carys videos, the day I filmed, I was pouring sweat. TMI, but so I only put a little bit of glitter because it's supposed to kind of be the representation of she's not the same person, and she's definitely not very heavily influenced by who her godly parent is, but there's good in her. She is still good. She made mistakes, but she's not a villain character. She was villain aligned, but she's not a villain character. I don't know where she would fit on the like alignment chart. Maybe chaotic good? Maybe chaotic good. So yeah, that's like her look. She has her bat back because now she's back at camp, and she doesn't want a weapon like the sword that can cause like horrible damage. You can cause horrible damage with a bat, but you get what I'm saying. And the last couple videos have been her being very unsure of who she is and what she's doing. And she's like trying hard. Like, I like the idea that she goes back, she's not cabin head, you know, people are wary of her, people don't really interact with her. Like, some people do, but it's nowhere near the same. She's not the party thrower she used to be. She's not, like, popular at camp. But young campers and new campers see her, and they're like, well, I've heard the stories, but, like, she's harmless. Like, she's not doing anything. And, you know, they come to her with, like, help with, like, mundane little things. Like, oh, like, let's go full stereotype for, like, children of Aphrodite. Like, like, can you help me braid my hair? Can you help me, you know, like, I have a crush on somebody. Can you tell me, like, how I should go about it? Like, things like that, because they're young and they're new, and other people know what Carys did, but these younger people are only hearing stories, and they're like, well, she's not, but she's here now, and, like, clearly she's good enough to be at the, like, at camp. Like, she's fine. But, and that's just it. Like, she's harmless. She's very harmless. She's just sad and traumatized and wants to do good. So she's harmless, and she's traumatized. She's plagued by that. Two people that she loved very, very much died in her arms, and she's never going to recover from that, probably. Like, she'll get better, but she will never fully recover. And that is where I left off the story of Carys. And I don't intend to come back to her with, like, a full story, because I think, and what I feel, you know, as a storyteller and as somebody who that is my character, I think that is it for Carys' story. That is the only story that needs to be told, because I can't really think of how to go about doing, like, a dealing with trauma and, I guess, recovery story. I don't really think I would know how to go about, like, doing that and writing that and making that, like, into certain videos. And I don't know that there always needs to be one for all of your characters. Like, for this character, I've decided that there doesn't need to be one, and her story is kind of, like, it's very unfinished, I guess, in the sense of, like, trauma and dealing with that, but it kind of leaves off on a hopeful note, I like to think. And I mean, I have the idea that if other people, you know, if the Camp Half-Blood tag gets, like, big again, because, you know, sometimes tags, like, have, like, surges of popularity. If it ever gets big again and somebody wants to maybe do, like, a collaborative story where they're mainly running it, but they, you know, wanted somebody to kind of join in, I would be very open to doing that. But individually, Carys having a broader story, that's over and done with. Carys is finished, and I love her. I'll still be doing original Carys, so if you're somebody from TikTok and you're like, oh man, I'm never going to see Carys again, you will see Carys again, just not this particular universe of her. Camp Half-Blood Carys is not going to come back in a storytelling way. Maybe in, like, goofy videos, maybe, like, duets, like, things like that, but a story run by me is never going to happen again. That is not what's going to come out of her. But I love her very much, and I'm very proud of the story I created, and I think it's a really cool form of storytelling, and it's a really cool media in a way of going about it, because I've made a whole story about how I want to be an author one day, and I still do, but for whatever reason, actually sitting down and writing or typing on a Word doc is very difficult sometimes. But this TikTok, and the way I use TikTok, is a very cool way of exploring storytelling. Like I said, it's not quite a movie, it's not quite like a TV show level, it's not quite music video level, even though it's, like, I find it's heavily influenced by certain audios, and it's not writing, it's like its own form of storytelling, which is cool as hell, and I really love it, and I really love where Carys' story went. And if you watched it, or if you want to go back and watch it, like, if you're interested and you want to go on TikTok and watch it, please do. Like, I'm really happy with her, and I'm really glad with what I did, and I love her very much, so I would appreciate if you go look. And because I have a tag and it's Carys OC, Carys original character, Carys OC, because it was original Carys, it was like a greaser kind of look version I did for her, and then it was the Camp Half-Blood Carys, and that tag has 26.2k views, so that means people like it and want to see her and watch her, and that is, like, it's very, very cool. But yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting. Like I said, this video was supposed to be filmed months ago because I was supposed to finish Carys' story months ago, but being an adult with a full-time job, and, like, this I do as a hobby, but it does take a lot of time between filming and editing, and just other stuff in life. It takes up time, and sometimes you mean to do something in a week and it's 6 months later. So this video was supposed to be out a long time ago, but Carys' story is done. She's officially done. The day this video goes out is the day on TikTok I will be putting out a video talking about how her story is done and how there is a YouTube channel and video if anybody would like to know like very fine details. So yeah. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and if this is interesting to you at all, please let me know, because I am considering, I talked about it in my Twitter video, I am considering writing like a fanfic to kind of go into it in a different version of storytelling, which would be, you know, writing it. I'm considering making a fanfic of it, so if anybody is interested, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye! You remember how in the last video I told you my orange eyeshadow wasn't in? Literally the day after I filmed that video, my orange eyeshadow came in. Rude.